Imagine your body exactly 30 days from now, but only if you do one thing differently today. What if simply removing something from your diet could reset your cravings, change how your brain lights up around food, and even affect the way you taste a strawberry? That's not a far-off theory. It's what the science says happens when you ditch added sugar for a full month. And while the first few days might test you, what comes next genuinely surprises most people. Let's walk through it, day by day, week by week. Think about the last time you really truly wanted something sweet. That pull wasn't just in your head, your brain was driving it. Sugar activates reward pathways that are deeply primitive. So when you decide to take a 30-day break from added sugar, you're not just changing a habit, you're retraining your neurology. And that's a process with distinct stages. Here's exactly what unfolds inside you and why each phase matters. The first 72 hours are the biggest hurdle for most people, and there's a clear biological reason. When you regularly eat a lot of added sugar, your brain's dopamine system adapts to that high stimulation. Remove that input suddenly, and dopamine signaling temporarily dips. The result: gnawing cravings, a subtle headache, maybe feeling a little on edge. Some people also notice fatigue, simply because their body was used to quick glucose spikes for energy. But here's what's interesting. These feelings are signals of adaptation, not failure. Research in nutrients highlighted that sugar withdrawal symptoms, while uncomfortable, are typically short-lived. Within 48 to 72 hours, your neurochemistry starts to rebalance. And right around day 3, something shifts. Your body begins to dip into its backup energy systems more smoothly, which means the shaky, hangry feeling starts to fade. It's the first glimpse of the stability waiting on the other side. By the end of the first week, a surprising party trick happens to your taste buds. Regular added sugar slightly desensitizes your sweet receptors. Once you step away, that sensitivity rebounds. A plain apple? It starts to taste genuinely dessert, like a roasted carrot suddenly has noticeable sweetness. One recent controlled trial found that after just 7 days without added sugar, participants rated the same fruit as 30% sweeter than they did at the start. That's not imagination, it's biology. Energy also starts feeling different. Without the constant glucose roller coaster, your blood sugar curve flattens out. Many people report waking up more refreshed and not hitting that 3 p.m. crash. You're still producing energy, of course, but your body is becoming more efficient at using stored fuel. This subtle steadiness is often the first benefit people actually feel, not just read about. As you move into the second week, your internal environment gets noticeably quieter, and by quieter, I mean less inflamed. Added sugar drives a process called glycation, where sugar molecules stick to proteins and fats, creating advanced glycation end products that age tissues and trigger inflammation. When you stop flooding your system, that stress dials back. Blood markers like fasting insulin often improve even before any weight change occurs. Your liver in particular breathes a sigh of relief. Excess fructose from added sugar has to be processed almost entirely by the liver, and when it's overburdened, it starts turning that sugar into fat droplets. Metabolic studies show that 2 weeks of cutting added sugar can already reduce liver fat accumulation, especially when combined with mostly whole foods. You might not feel that directly, but it's one of the biggest invisible wins of the challenge. Around day 15 to day 21, something fascinating happens to your appetite. Your body is now less dependent on frequent spikes to feel satisfied. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, starts to regulate more predictably. Cravings that used to feel like emergencies, they begin to feel like suggestions, and pretty weak ones. This is also when you might notice your skin. Sugar-driven glycation can damage collagen and elastin, so reducing that attack can lead to less puffiness and a smoother texture. A 2023 dermatology review pointed out that skin appearance often improves noticeably within 3 to 4 weeks of a low-sugar diet. It's not a magic eraser, but the trend is real. Less internal damage, more outward radiance. And here's a detail most people don't consider. Your sleep architecture can improve. Stable blood sugar overnight means fewer cortisol spikes at 2 a.m. Deep sleep becomes more consolidated, and you wake up with a sense of recovery, not grogginess. That alone makes everything else easier. Better food choices, steadier mood, more patience. In the final stretch, the change isn't just physical, it's psychological. Your reward system has literally been reweighted. A hyper-palatable donut no longer holds the same grip. When you walk past the bakery section, the urge is far quieter. This isn't willpower, it's neuroadaptation. The dopamine response to sugar has been calibrated back to a healthier baseline. Weight changes, if they happen, are usually modest by week 4, unless you were consuming a significant daily surplus. But body composition often shifts subtly. Less visceral fat, a slightly trimmer waistline. More importantly, your confidence in what you can control skyrockets. You realize you're not a slave to cravings. You've proven to yourself that those urges are temporary, and you have the power to ride them out. Another unexpected bonus, mental clarity. Without the fog of repeated blood sugar swings and mild inflammation, many people describe their thinking as sharper, more linear. It's not a superpower, but the difference is tangible enough that work and conversations feel a little easier to navigate. After 30 days, your taste preferences have genuinely shifted. Foods you used to love might suddenly taste overwhelmingly sweet. A sugary soda will feel like a punch of syrup. That's a protective mechanism that helps you naturally gravitate towards less processed choices, no willpower needed. And when you do occasionally have a dessert, you'll likely be satisfied with a much smaller portion, a gift your future metabolic health will thank you for. But the most important takeaway is this: you haven't just removed something, you've made room. You've given your palate, your energy, and your brain a clean slate. That's the shift that tends to last long after the 30 days are over. Of course, this isn't a prescription to fear fruit or avoid all carbohydrates. Natural sugars and whole foods come with fiber, water, and nutrients that completely change how your body processes them. This challenge is about added sugar, the kind that sneaks into sauces, breads, and drinks without any nutritional backup. And as always, the real magic happens when a no added sugar approach is paired with plenty of real food, movement, and rest. So the question lands back with you. What would change in your life if you gave yourself just 30 days without added sugar? You don't have to be perfect. Even a solid attempt tends to unlock at least half of these benefits. And after seeing what's possible, most people decide it's worth exploring. Would you take the 30-day no added sugar challenge? Drop a comment and let me know. I read every single one. And if you want more science-backed, no-nonsense health insights, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Your body is listening to every